do to get started right away on fighting with the bow or any other martial arts long staff. It could be a Korean jongbong, maybe the Chinese gon, cudgel. Could even be the long martial arts staff from India in styles of silambam or gakka. You're gonna warm up with these basic, simple spins, just turning side to side, in one hand. Your goal here is to start to build some strength and power in your hand, in your grip. Get the blood flowing into the joints so you can stay safe from injury during your warm-up and your workout. When you start to train with the bow for fighting or for self-defense, maybe it's combat bow if you want to do it for competition, or you want to use it as an everyday option to carry with you for self-defense, you have to have a strong grip and you have to start to build power in those forearms. This motion goes back and forth, gets the blood in there, starts to make everything stronger, more lubricates the joints, healthier, and your grip is going to be harder. You're going to lose not lose your staff when you come in contact for self-defense with somebody's head or body or another weapon, or if it's combat bow, if it's a competition, you really want to have strong hands. So this motion just goes back and forth, and you're going to just take it from one hand, turn it out to the other one. Now, people see spinning with the bow, and when you start to spin the bow or the other martial arts long staff, you have to understand that spinning is not for self-defense by itself. Spinning is a way to develop proprioception, your ability to feel the staff in space and time. Your timing and distance will start to improve. It's conditioning for the muscles and the joints, the tendons. It's conditioning for the body. Good evening. It's good to see you in Utah. The big mountains out in Utah. Beautiful in Utah, especially this time of year. You're going side to side, letting that motion turn your wrists out even more, increasing your flexibility and range of motion, plus increasing the strength. So as you bring it to a stop and turn it the other way, you're firing those muscles. They're getting stronger and stronger. You're getting harder strikes for self-defense. Just going side to side. I turned 50 a couple weeks ago. You just asked me how old I am. Just had a birthday. Still hard to think about it. Just a number, right? Doesn't really matter. All right, now you've warmed up a little bit. I want you to get right into this idea of self-defense or fighting with the bow. And I want to show you the two ways, there are only two ways that you can hold it. Either your hands are going to be facing each other or in an alternated grip. Alternated, I'm not sure what the proper term is, but your hands look like this, right? They're either like this or they're like this. You're going to learn how to keep your hands on when you switch them, or your hands are going to be like this in a push-up grip, right? So you're either going to hold your hands like this when you strike for self-defense, or they're going to be split. When the left foot is forward, you take it into the backhand simply by pointing your thumb at your opponent, if it's combat bow, or if it's self-defense, at the threat. When you do that, it puts it into that backhand very quickly. This hand is here, and this is going to be the first motion that I want you to practice. This is my left side. Your left foot forward, put your left hand on the staff, and if you think about the length of the staff, you have the middle, so the two sides, cut the sides in half, and you have your quarters. You're going to put it toward the top quarter, right? So it's just here, you're behind it, you point your thumb at the threat, and now you're in this split grip. From this position, the first strike I'm going to have you practice is going to be a thrusting motion. From here, you can thrust up into the face for self-defense, the throat, or the body, and you can go lower, but every time you thrust, you're going to turn your hands over to lock out that thrust. So when you learn how to fight with a bow staff, you have to get behind it and thrust in the very first motion, and I want you to practice over and over, at least 30 seconds, faster and faster. If we were just doing, fun spinning and learning how to move through all these different ranges of motion and work on our flow, which we're going to do also, if that's all you're doing, you can have a more relaxed approach. But when you're practicing for self-defense, you want to have principles of self-defense. You want to pay attention to things like situational awareness, and then get in a better position. And then when you strike, immediate, direct, explosive, as hard and as fast as you can. So I want you to practice toward the end of that 30 seconds, of that first motion, harder, faster, and really locking it out. Really snap it out there. And then simply put the other hand where that one was and switch your feet. Now it's my right hand behind it. I'm behind it. My right hand's forward. My right foot's forward. I'm going to point the thumb, and that's going to pop it up into the left hand. Now, if you're not ambidextrous, which most people are not, you're not born naturally with both sides equally the same, then it's going to feel a little different, right? So we're going to practice it when it's in that other hand so that it becomes more natural. The more you practice it, the stronger you'll become, the more fluid you'll become, and practice those different heights, right? You want to go higher, you want to go in the middle, you want to go lower, but you want to practice it over and over again, like I said, for 30 seconds until you start to really break a sweat, lock those out. And then if you have something like a hanging bag or a tree or a pole wrapped with something, you can now practice striking that. And so you're right, you can't carry it to the grocery store, but a lot of the principles are going to be the same. So it's a good cross training. I look at it, the bow, like, it's a fun weapon to train with. And when you do carry the cane for self-defense, which is my first choice too, I always use this to practice to kind of break up the monotony of doing the same thing over and over again. I'll do 3 or 4 weapons in a day because I have the time to. So if I use this as my threat, I can now practice accuracy. Try to hit the same spot over and over again. Maybe go up to the face, go into the body, and then again do it on both sides. Let it swing, make it a moving target. But that's how you're going to practice those basic thrusting strikes. Now, after those strikes, I want you to go back to a spinning motion. And remember, the spins that we're doing in this workout are to develop speed, timing, distance, proprioception, or how it feels through space. Your kind of your sixth sense. And the way I want you to do this one is going to be a open hand wrist roll going over the back of the hand to one side and the back of the hand to the other side. Hello, it's good to see you. Just going side to side, wrist roll to wrist roll. And your goal here is just to get a feel. You're never going to do this in self-defense. If someone's going to attack you, or you're in combat bow, you're doing a competition, you're never going to do a wrist roll. But you're going to do a wrist roll in training, just like a boxer jumps rope in training, but doesn't take the rope into the boxing ring. So this is a bow. This is the long martial arts staff. We're just going over the back of the hand. You're going to start to go a little faster. I'll slow it down first. I'm just opening the hand, and then I catch it. Start to go a little quicker, and you're going to do this for 30 seconds. Your goal is to break up the strikes. You do 30 seconds of striking on each side, and then you're going to go into one of these spins just to condition the body. And like I said, it's like a boxer jumping rope. It's not something you use for self-defense. You're not going to grab your Japanese bow or your Korean jangbong or the other martial arts long staff and start to spin it. You're not trying to intimidate anybody. You're just going to be standing there. Someone gets too close, you say back up, and then there's that thrust. So with this other hand, though, you're going to go side to side, just over the back of the hand. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time. And then once you get it, speed it up. And because this is a heavier oak staff, as it comes around, and I have to stop it and push it the other way. This is how to spin a staff with one hand, by the way. Hello, it's good to see you, Phil. As you start to increase it, it puts more tension, more resistance, like lifting a weight, and now your grip is getting stronger. Stronger and stronger. Thank you, it's good to see you. So I want to go over the back of the hand, 30 seconds per side. Slow, smooth, smooth, fast. Crawl, walk, run. You can go faster when you're ready. And then I want you to go back into staff in front of your body, point the thumb, thrust, and then I'm gonna build striking combinations for you in this workout. So you're gonna do striking combinations, not just one at a time. After that first one, now we're gonna add that thrust. We're gonna add an angular strike coming down over, locking over the back arm and striking. Think about hitting the temple and going and following through. When you strike with a weapon or a punch or a kick or anything, you always follow through. Don't hit and stop. So from here, thrust, strike. And when you strike, hard. So we want to do a 2-strike combination, thrust, strike. Thrust, strike. Start to speed it up. 1, 2, and you're going to go 30 seconds. A little faster every time. Like I said, if you have a target, you can use the target. Practice. 1, 2, thrust, strike. And then put it into the other hand. You want to get it in the other hand so that you're getting comfortable with becoming ambidextrous, becoming able to fight and defend yourself in both positions. 1, 2. It's not like a Western boxer where everything is on the right hand or everything is on the left hand. You have to have that balance. You have to have the ability to go back and forth. So from here, 1, 2, 1, strike hard, 1, 2. Then I'm going to go back to a basic spin, and this time I'm spinning it through the fingers. So that's a really good question. Your question was, Phil, what percentage of power should you have for the opponent when you strike? So I want you to think of this, because that's a great question for all self-defense, all martial arts, all sparring, whether it's competitive. Self-defense, I believe in immediate direct explosive as hard and as fast as you can. So if it's self-defense, I want to hit every strike. I want to be trying to end the fight. I want to be trying to finish for self-defense, finish the opponent. If I'm doing combat bow, I might be, striking in different hand positions, depending on the style that I'm using. And I'll shift it, I'll change styles a lot. So if I'm thinking about percentages for self-defense, I'm saying 100%, right? Every strike is hard and as fast as I can. If I'm talking about like more of a competitive thing, like sparring, like fighting, if it's not life or death, then you're gonna be, it's like light and quick, right? Light and quick, light and quick. And then, 10 seconds of boom, just keeping them off, and then boom, 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 power strikes, 3, 4, 5 in a combination, and then back to light and easy. Because you can't go all out. You can't go all out 100% in every single strike and hope to last in a competitive event. If it's like a competition, you're welcome, Phil. If it's competition, boxing, or combat bow is a competition with bow staff, with this kind of staff, or maybe you're into the quarter staff. You do more of the East or the Western martial arts, like the Europeans, early Europeans. But if it's self-defense, you want to try to finish them with every single strike. And when you get experience, you'll start to realize if you're not making contact, you'll be able to redistribute your energy to a different strike. And you're going to learn that. That's going to become more and more natural. All the old Bruce Lee movies, I think probably I've seen them on TV 100 times when I was growing up. But I haven't seen any of the new ones anymore. There are a lot of different moves, a lot of different styles. And I'm teaching you a blended style. So a lot of this right now is more Japanese style. When we change the hands and get them to here, it's going to be more of the Korean or Chinese style. And I'll go over that in just a minute. But I want to go through this finger roll, because finger rolling is a good way to build strength in your grip, because you're extending and flexing. In this case, you're extending and flexing like this, and you're pushing that staff through your hand, and every finger is starting to work independently, and so you become more dexterous, I think that's the word, and strong, and it gets rid of a lot of tendonitis, a lot of the pain that you sometimes get if you start getting into spinning staffs, or you're striking or you're striking all the time with your staff, then that starts to get overworked. This is a good way to loosen it up and create balance, because all the motions are squeezing or flexing and not any of them are extending. So this coming up, that one doesn't come up as much, but that's the extension part, right? So when you start to go through here, you're now starting to get stronger, more flexible, more mobility, more dexterity. You're gonna have better strikes. And again, you're not gonna do this for self-defense. Some guy comes running up with you or at you with a knife, you're not gonna, this has no purpose for that. Just like, say it a million times, a boxer's jumping the rope, they don't bring the jump rope into the fight. That's just to condition the body. This is conditioning the arms and the hands. So you're gonna do 30 seconds per side. And when you first get started, if you need to, you can use the other hand to spin the staff to keep it from hitting the ground. But once you get it, you'll be able to start to increase the speed by turning just a little bit. Notice that my hand doesn't really turn a lot until I come down to that pinky finger, and then I bring it back up. So I'm going down, pinky finger, now I'm going back up to that first finger, and my thumb never gets in there. The thumb stays out of the way on this kind of spin. Now there is another spin that's a 3-finger roll. And so I'm coming here, and when I get there, I grab it with my thumb, but I'm not doing that one yet. We're gonna use that one when we do freestyle bow flow arts with the spinning. But right now we're gonna do more strikes. So we come back, again, we're building strike, I'm building combinations for you so that you have an idea of how it might look, right? So you're gonna create distance, point the thumb, thrust, angular strike, and then a horizontal strike coming from that backhand like a punch, just coming straight across. So from here, thrust, angle, horizontal. And this horizontal strike ends right here on that upper arm, and it's almost cool. It's almost like striking them here. Nunchucks are a fun, sweet martial art weapon, right? Good evening. Is it fed or feed? I would always wonder that. Point the thumb, thrust, angular strike, and then that horizontal across the back strike. Go back to the beginning, a little quicker, 2, 3, back to here, 1, 2, 3, from here, thrust, 2, 3, and if the knife comes out, straight through the face, and then try to end the fight with every strike. You asked me before, what percentage of power into the opponent through your stick? 100% for self-defense. If you're going back to the competition, maybe 20, 30%, and then when you see the opportunity to knock the staff straight out of their hand, Federico, awesome, thank you. Thanks for explaining that. So smashing, knocking that hand right out of their staff, right out of their hand, or knife, or whatever their weapon is. Good evening, Sensei Emmett, good to see you. Put it in the other hand, get behind it, thrust, angular strike, bring that horizontal straight through, and notice that I want you to strike and follow through. I don't ever want you to strike and stop here. It's a late night. If it's midnight, from there, I thought it's dark outside, but it's not quite midnight. From here, thrust, angle, and then bring it straight through. But remember, always full extension, full extension, full extension. You want to make it a habit. Say martial arts in Spanish or Spanish and martial arts? I think it's martial arts in Espanol. Every morning I've been practicing my Espanol for over an hour, since the beginning of January, beginning of the year. So from here, thrust, down, bring it straight through. 1, 2, 3. I like to go and try to speak or teach martial arts in other languages. It forces me to get out of my comfort zone. And I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, and then I get better and better because as I struggle. And that's the key to martial arts. People miss this all the time. The more you struggle at it, the better you're going to get. The more value you're getting at it, the more you struggle. Don't ask for less struggle. Don't ask for less struggle. Ask for more opportunity to practice. Ask for more perseverance. Ask for more determination, more hard-headedness. But don't ask for less struggle. Less struggle means you're not going to go very far. You're not going to grow. From here, thrust, 2, 3. Start to speed it up. 1, 2, 3. I forgot my 2. From here, 1, 2, 3. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. And then I want to go back to the wrist roll, but then I want to bring it to a stop with the other hand because I want you to start to build power in your grip. You're going to push it over and bring it to a stop. Now this is my right hand. The right hand's going to push down while the left hand pushes up. That's just going to start it. And then it's going to balance over the back of the right hand. That's the wrist roll. My right hand is turning to catch it. It comes all the way around and my left hand is stopping it here. Now I'm in the opposite position. So I'm going to push down with the left and up with the right. It's going to balance over the back of that left hand. The left hand's going to turn to take it and finish the turn. And then I'm going to send it back the other way and send it back the other way. Just going from one side to the other one. I had a couple people coming in tonight. I kept waiting. I thought, we need to work out. They might not be showing up. And the class is almost done. They didn't show up. So we got to work out together. It ended up being a really good thing tonight. So we turn here to here. I always enjoy working out in the Global Dojo. I consider this to be our worldwide martial arts school. Coming around the back. And just like the school here, in person, no one's any better than anybody else. I just learned, I might have a little bit more knowledge for now. Artes Martial, is that French? I tried the French, I don't get very far. The Spanish, okay. I know what I'm thinking of. I was thinking of Hindi. In Hindi, I keep thinking it's martial arts. Just because I'm so fascinated by India and the style of Silambam. I don't know if you guys have seen and how fast those guys are moving those sticks. Anybody here knows the Silambam? Dia de los Muertos. If it's Dia de los Muertas, is it a bunch of dead, like ghost ladies or something? I've always wondered that too. I don't know enough of Spanish yet. I'm thinking muertos is like men and women, right? Like hijos, children, or it could be boys, but I don't know. I know I got off on a tangent. Let me get back on. You're pushing it over and you're pushing it back. Over and back. Then I want to show you one more striking combination. I'm not going to show you one. I'm going to show you three on this one as well. And this is going to be from the backhand. Because I said if it's in your front hand, you point your thumb, you thrust. Simple enough, right? But if it's in your backhand, it doesn't happen to be in your front hand. Here comes the threat. They're running in on you. You need to start backing up. You can now simply lift and create. Yeah, I know. I got off on a grim, weird tangent. All right, so from here, I just step back. Especially if that knife's coming out. Boom, and then you're going straight through the middle, right? Your target, think about your targets. What's your target? Targets the nose, your targets the eyes, targets the teeth, throat. The ability for them to see you, to breathe temporarily, permanently, breathe. Right there, put them right on the ground, their ability to stand up, right? So if it's not in the front hand and you have to get in the protected position fast, how to fight with your bow, bring this backhand up. Now, my elbow isn't way out here. You ever seen those rifles? You know, it's like a TV show and the guy's walking around like I don't think that's a very strong position. Plus, I think it creates a pivot point. I don't want you to pivot when you strike. I want you to be in almost like a javelin, right? Or not a javelin, don't try to pole vault. I'm thinking of a pole vault. Don't try to pole vault on your javelin. Exactly. Thank you, Sensei Emmett. Phil, I was thinking about that. There's this new polymer, a hard plastic, that I've ordered. I'm waiting to see what it looks like when it comes in. This thing is never broken. Knock on wood. This is the white oak. It's laminated. It's 3 pieces, and it's cut. And this company doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. But you can have them made. I've seen similar descriptions on like Etsy, and they're 80, 90 bucks. But that, you know, you get what you pay for. But this other one, I think it's made by like those night watchman guys or something. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. So there are some good materials out there, and I'm looking for those. I want to show as many as I can. Right now, I'm looking around. Let me show you one thing, one option, real quick. Now this is metal, right? And this is aircraft grade aluminum, made by a company called, I always say it right, I don't want to say the wrong one because the sister companies, and you say, don't tell them the name of the other company. But I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, I like the rattan too. But rattan will break. Anything will break. This might ding and dent a little bit, but it's pretty much, I don't know if it's hollow inside. Kind of sounds like it, right? But it's extremely durable, and I've done a lot of things with this, and I know it will be very effective for self-defense. So from here, if I thrust here, see what I did with my hand? I'm going to slide my hand, and then I'm going to strike and do that same angular strike that you did before, right? So from here, I'm going to thrust, bring it down, and then bring that back hand straight through this way. Combative.com, combative.com makes this, if they're still in business. I have no idea. I'm hoping they survived the COVID. But it was a small niche company. They had a passion for making metal weapons. They made some really cool ones. They make my really chunky hard metal. I've got aluminum collie sticks or Eskrima sticks, Arnis, and I've got the really sweet nunchucks made out of the same material. And this one is very thin and it's very lightweight, but it weighs about, it's probably half the diameter of that other staff that I just had, that white oak, but it has no flex, almost no flex, and it's the same weight. And you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but this thing, I can get this thing moving, a lot faster than I can a lot of the other weapons. So it's a really good option. It's in the backhand, thrust, angular strike, and the rest, you already know how to do that. The rest is all the same. Yeah, grab a stick. Any stick will do. So from here, thrust, down, and then across. I don't know if you guys remember that movie with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, Coming to America. They're coming out with Coming to America 2. Coming to America, and he's got a mop stick. Broomstick, mop stick, I guess it's the same thing. And the bad guy comes in. Who's the bad guy? He's the same bad guy from the Quentin Tarantino movies. And he's screaming and yelling. He's got a shotgun. He's threatening to blow everybody away if they don't give him the money fast. No, not James Earl Jones. That's Star Wars, man. That's Darth Vader. No. Samuel L. Jackson, I think. Samuel L. Jackson. Is that right? Samuel L. Jackson? Yeah, you can. You can flip upside down on this staff for sure. From here, thrust, strike, strike. Anyway, busts in, and yeah, and he's sitting there. He's holding it just like this. And it reminds me, let me grab a Joe. In the movie with Eddie Murphy Coming to America, Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy are back in the old country. And I can't remember what it's called. Last time I said Wakanda. And I think that's the Panther movie. It's not Wakanda. It's Zamunda. They're in Zamunda. That's what it was. I love that movie, Coming to America. I like the funny movies. I don't like the serious movies too much. But they're in Zamunda, and Arsenio Hall, and he's doing one of these spins. He's doing a really slow skip catch. Kind of like that, except he didn't drop it. But he's going like this, and Eddie Murphy's just standing like this, which is how you need to be standing for self-defense. Because this stuff in self-defense doesn't work, right? This works. And then when Arsenio Hall comes in, spin his thing, Eddie Murphy, bam, 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 just does the quick one on him. Oh, thank you very much, Chief of Beef. Sweet. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and I was talking to some of my people back there, and they're all hunkered down tonight too. They're waiting for 10, 11 inches. I miss it. I miss it for like a minute. And it was 88 degrees here in sunny South Florida, but it's good to have some balance, right? But I really appreciate that donation, that $10. That really helps a lot. That gets this stuff, keeps me doing this stuff. Anyway, Eddie Murphy's standing there, right? He's sitting down there. He's talking to the lady, And then the guy, I don't know if you guys know the movie, the guy with the rich kid is hiding in the corner cowering, and Eddie Murphy's just cool and calm because the martial arts. It's the martial arts game, the calmness. And he's sitting there confident. He's confident, and he just unscrews the mop. And he stands up and he walks up to Samuel L. Jackson, who's got the shotgun, screaming and yelling at the kid behind the counter, "Give me the money, I'm going to get everybody," or whatever. And he says, you need to calm down or something like that. He's like, you need to back it off. You need to tone it down, buddy. And the guy's like, turns to him, he pulls his shotgun and he goes, bam! So fast. It's like my favorite move with the walking cane, the self-defense cane, combat cane, just boom, straight up. And of course, the guy who's got his shotgun, and boom, he can't help but do that, right? And he goes up, Eddie Murphy goes, boom, and then he comes around and boom, sweeps the guy's legs. Those are all martial arts moves with your cane or your bow. Or in this case, it's really the size of a Joe. Joe comes up to about your armpit, and when you take the broom off of it or you take the mop off, it really becomes a Joe, more so than the bow, which would be a little taller. But it doesn't matter. Whatever stick you've got, use it. That's what Sensei Emmett was saying earlier. But from here, straight up, and then out this way, or out this way, through the face, down on top, thrusting through. All those motions are legit, whatever works. That's the key to using your staff. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate that $10 again so much. That really helps us keep going. And we've got some new Patreons this week. Thank you so much for you guys who are giving me the Patreon love, because that really is helping out a lot in times of COVID. Stay warm in New York. Stay warm wherever you are. I'll see you guys in a little bit.